In 1992, Carol Spazzeri lived the worst nightmare a parent can have. Her daughter Christina bled to death in an auto accident, waiting for professional help to arrive. Shortly thereafter, Carol founded the Save a Life Foundation to prevent future tragedies from happening. Joining me to tell us all about the Save a Life Foundation is President and founder Carol Spazzeri. Thank you for coming on our show today. We appreciate having you here.
Thank you, Joe.
First, tell me about that day. I'm sure it was something that you will never forget.
No, it won't. It is a terrible nightmare for any parent that has to experience their own child to be taken before they. I discovered in Christina's accident that the first people who arrived at the scene were police officers who did not know basic life-saving skills. So they were unable to put the pressure that she needed on her wound and to preserve her blood. Thus, she bled to death before EMS arrived 13 minutes later. That course of action, I then moved forward to find out that people that we assume and we entrust the safety of our children, like school teachers, school bus drivers, firefighters, were not also trained in these basic life-saving skills. EMS needs help. They can do their job better if the prompt aid is rendered before they get there to maintain life.
Because I would have been under the assumption as well that a police officer would have known what to do, you know, the least amount of what to do in a case like that.
Well, that's assumption by the general public. When I discovered this, I went to Springfield at our state capitol and started knocking on doors to get state legislators to recognize the need of this education for the first responders, and was fortunate enough to get the attention of those like, at that time, State Representative Chuck Hartke, who is now our state agricultural director, and Senator Walter Dudich, Pate Phillip, Emil Jones, and the rest that supported legislation that we got through in 13 months, mandating police and firefighters to be trained in these life-saving skills before they left their academy. Meanwhile, Dick Durbin, at the time he was a congressman, now he's a state U.S. senator, was instrumental in helping me pass appropriations to pay for that education. While I was pursuing this, I was confronted by Dr. Heimlich, the Heimlich maneuver, and Dr. Peter Safar, who invented CPR, who both were in their 70s at the time, and said we have to train the masses. Well, I didn't expect to pursue that as well. So we worked on develop a program for children from kindergarten through high school. It's age appropriate, and started training. They come from other states, so I recruited the EMS from our state, who also support this advocacy, and went into schools and started training the children in life-saving skills. At the beginning, people didn't recognize that children could retain these skills or use them or want to use them. So we started testing the children immediately.
We have some video, excuse me, of some of the children, I guess, under the program.
Yes, right.
In elementary school.
And these are my grandbabies. At this point, I'm very proud of these young people. And that's one of our instructors who's a paramedic, and he represents the EMS that most people are not aware who EMS is really. And they create a role model for the children.
So basically they're teaching them the basics of how to save a life,
Right.
because they're the ones closest to the students. They're on the playground or something of that nature.
Oh, asthma attack, or they take this home with them. They teach their siblings how to do it, or their parents how to do these skills they were taught in school. And the last week of the session of school, we were, it was announced to us there were 4 saved by the same children that we have trained.
Really?
One I'm real proud of is that he had come, child, the 6th grader, had come home, found his brother laying on the grass in front of the house. It was hit by a drive-by shooting. He called EMS and then put pressure on the wound until EMS arrived and saved his brother.
Well, that was my next question. How important is this in these days and times? There's so much going on. We have always the threat of terrorism. How important is it that everyone knows what to do, the least of what to do?
Well, I've been advocating this for so long besides disasters that happen with terrorism, we have disasters with tornadoes and hurricanes and floods and heart attacks, etc. And these are disasters for the people that have to go through it. Mayors have become a very instrumental part of the Save a Life Foundation. We work very closely with the Illinois Municipal League, U.S. Conference of Mayors, because they are the first runners of a disaster. They bring in the advanced troops, and they want their citizens to be able to be prepared so that they can maintain until these advanced troops come.
And the mayors will play a big part in the Bridge Your Gap Summit.
Yes, they do.
That's coming up soon.
September 16th and 17th. This is our second annual summit, which brings together all the leaders of a community, the school officials, the EMS, fire, police, the mayors. We have a mayor's panel. We also have people that are dignitaries from the national level of Homeland Security, Citizen Corps, State Fire, U.S. Fire Administrator. Dr. Heimlich will be there, and I'm very proud always to have him. He's a good friend. Arnie Duncan from the Chicago Public Schools will be leading the panel for education.
Now, is this open to the public? Or
yes,
do you have
it's
to be with the
open to
school?
everybody. And please check our website at www.salf.org or at salf.org and to get more information who's going to be there.
Thank you so much. Out of something tragic, something great is happening for the entire country. We appreciate you
I
being
thank
here.
you and thank Comcast for having me here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And coming up next, when and where you can meet some of Midwest's best-selling authors. We'll be telling you about that right after this.